All right, let the record show committee meetings, December 9th, 2025, St. Charles Parish Public Schools committee meetings. Call the committee meetings to order. The first committee meeting, I'll call it as Capital Improvements Chair. I'll call it Capital Improvements Committee meeting to order, which consists of myself, Mr. Scott Cody, and Mr. John Smith. And I believe we have Mr. John Rome. Come discuss the item 1.01 resolution for St. Charles Parish School Board to revise attendance zones for St. Charles Parish Public Schools. I'll let Mr. Rome take it from here and explain.
Yes, sir. Good evening. And we have Mr. Josh Manning representing South Central Planning and Development here tonight. This item was brought before sometime back at retreat. It's in regards to attendance zones. We kind of walked you through the new narratives that we are adopting to here today, if the board so chooses, along with an interactive map which will allow the school district representatives, administration, as well as the public to be able to go in and simply click on a map or put in an address and get the zone that their students would be attending. It's been a little tricky before in the past. The narratives are sometimes hard for the lay people to understand or read. So before you is a resolution to adopt that, as well as ratify the change that was made a couple years back that the board so approved for the Magnolia Ridge subdivision and the associated streets. Me and Mr. Manning did discuss that today, and that is definitely included in that subdivision or area is included in the Lakewood Mimosa Park feeder system as it should be. So this resolution will be there for tomorrow night for the board's consideration, and we're here for any questions that you may have.
Can you just, I know you just alluded to it, but we're doing a resolution now because it, to put it in policy or?
So it formalizes what y'all had already agreed to. It just puts it on, paper and writes it down. And it clarifies, what we did was the former written descriptions were very vague and very generalized. For this one, I used basically physical features that, you could stand out there and look, either look on a map or stand out in the field and actually see where these boundaries are located. So they're a little more verbose than they used to be, but they're going to be a lot easier to follow.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure for the record that everybody knows it's not new.
Correct.
This is going back and just actually putting it documented of what was done. Do you remember what year? 2022?
Been a couple years.
It was before I was on board, so I think it was 21 or 22, but anyway, thank you. Any questions on this item? All right, hearing none.
Thank you, Mr. Manning.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll move to item 1.02, discuss bid acceptance of St. Charles Parish School Board Elementary Schools Auxiliary Gyms project, and we bring up the rest of the crew. Mr. Rome?
Yes, we have the entourage with us today. As Mr. Gregson pointed out, this is in regards to the Elementary School Auxiliary Gym project. We have Mr. Mike Tabb representing Murray Architects as the architect of record, Mr. Cade Rogers and Mr. Dwayne Foray, who are primarily responsible for kind of overseeing the plans and into the construction of this project as it deals with the athletics and our long-range athletic plan.
To the facilities. So that $153,720 is to provide windows in all of those facilities. Alternate number 2 is for accent lighting to be placed in each of the gyms.
Okay. Particularly alternate number 2, that there's a big disparity between the low bidder and the other.
Yeah, we asked this the other day. I was going to ask him to explain. Go ahead.
Good question, yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
And if you want to take it, Mike, yeah.
Well, the big disparity with that is Tela does all the electrical themselves. So they're not subbing that out to, All-Star Electric or anything like that. It's their own crews. They have their own electrical staff, and that way they can better own crews. They have their own electrical staff, and that way they can better with labor as well as materials. I also checked with them, and they did receive a couple competitive bids that some of these other guys didn't get in time that were roughly in a $85,000, $90,000 range.
Okay. And then the same is true for alternate 1, because their bid for alternate 1 is quite a bit lower than it is for the other 3. 153 compared to like 237,
Well, if you look at
270, and 281.
the TH bid, the one right below that is 155. So it's
155.
really close. It just depends on which sub they intended to use. Sometimes you get subs that are really hungry and want to put out, a better number. Some of them actually put out higher numbers because they don't want to work with some of the subs. So that's some of the things that we can't get into their mind, but that's some of the things that go on at time of bid.
Okay, so 1 is due to subs and 2 is due to them doing
In-house labor,
electrical.
yes.
Yeah, and just for a point of reference, when we talk about the high windows, something similar to that, allowing a lot of natural light in opposed to just having the interior LED lighting, that's something we try to do and try to incorporate when we can. And the main reason for the 2 alternates is because we definitely want to be good stewards of the public's money and bring bids that are within budget. We do know lately that some of the numbers have been coming in higher, so we felt it prudent to put these alternates in there. And if they didn't come in under budget, we would have still been able to, recommend proceeding with the base project. But we feel confident with all 3 numbers combined, still a good bit under budget. And this is a contractor who actually did this project here, this boardroom, as well as many other projects with us. So we're comfortable with that as well. Excuse me. Any other questions for us?
No, we anticipated that the other day. We actually asked the question, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions for these guys? Oh, all right. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the entourage.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned, anybody?
So moved.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he did. I saw Karen and Mr. Al. Yep.
Okay. The next committee is a Personnel and Policy Committee. We only have 1 item on the agenda, that's personnel items. There's an attachment under executive content with the personnel notes. Has everyone had a chance to review the notes? It's a fairly short report. If there's any questions for Ms. Brown? Okay. Thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn? Have a motion and a second. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Mr. Alexander's absence, I'll call the Transportation Committee to order.
Put your mic on.
We have 1 item up here, and it's about transportation. I mean, there we go.
Thank you, Mr. Cody.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. It's the time of year again where we come to seek to purchase school buses. This year, as you've heard, many presentations come that our special needs population is increasing. We took that into account, and that's why last year we did 7 regular buses. This year we're going to do 5 regular and 2 special ed buses.
In the bus, as much equipment in the bus on the seats or in the way, so we did add that for our regular ed buses, which was another $1,700. So it's a total of $4,200 increase on the regular ed buses, $2,500 on the sped buses, on the lift buses. Any questions?
So we have an order pending with an expected delivery date of mid-March for 26. These, you said 10 to 12 months?
Yeah, we're looking probably this time, January of next year. Of
So
26
January
or 27. Could be. It just depends on if they keep improving their delivery dates or not.
Where, and if you don't know the answer, it's fine. Where are they manufacturing? Just curious.
North Carolina.
Okay. So it must have been the parts that,
It's
the parts that were.
Correct,
okay.
correct.
So we don't have any,
What's the competition? Like, is there anyone else that we can go to bid with these guys?
Well, we're buying them on state contract right now.
So we have to go with the state, and so does the state,
The state contract is a competitive price
Yeah.
that we're able to order off of without having to seek bids.
They seek the bids.
But the state's,
Does the state seeks the bids, and that's how, okay, so they've already done the process. Okay,
and we
thank you.
we done the math and long-term,
So with the delays, we're still able to get by with the fleet of buses we have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any other
I'm sorry.
questions?
One other question. I think in my first year on the board, I remember somebody explaining that we try to rotate the buses out at like 15 years, or give or take.
Give or take,
But
yes.
22 is like the federal law that we got to,
25,
25.
yeah.
It's not related to this particular bid, but because we are going out to purchase more buses, some time ago, I had asked us to look into the possibility of maybe going with electronic buses. We did get a report which presented information regarding that, but we never did rule out the possibility of doing that. And I was just wondering whether or not we might consider maybe piloting or looking at maybe one or two electronic buses to see what the feasibility of maybe including electronic buses in our fleet.
Yeah, we can certainly look into it from a bus standpoint, an infrastructure standpoint.
I don't remember what the cost differential was between the electronic buses and the
It's-
diesel buses.
It's pretty much almost a double, at least, minimum of cost, just for the bus itself, not including.
Not the,
And
Including
infrastructure?
infrastructure that needs
Yeah,
to
the
be.
charging stations
Yes,
are.
you're over $350,000
But
minimum.
that's a one-time cost of the infrastructure, so, you know, we build infrastructure for everything that we do, so that's immaterial to me. What is important to me, because in the long run, once you got the infrastructure in, whether or not it is worth the investment in the infrastructure to, you know, the cost of gasoline and what have you, continuously going up. We happen to be right now at a point where gasoline is probably lower than, you know, it's ever been. But it's something that I think we probably need to get a better handle on, whether or not there's, you know, it's worth our while in the long run, not short run, but in the long run, to explore that.
Mr. Smith, and, you know, we'll get together and bring some additional information back, you know, similar to what we had done before. At that time, I think with the board, based on the projected cost to benefit, at the time had not, but we'll bring that information back and review it again with the board.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I'll just add one thing, and it's fresh in my mind because I just left an event. There's a report that'll come out tomorrow, I'll send to all of y'all, that part of it relates to it, I'll highlight where it's at, related to the electric vehicles, that y'all might find interesting. I haven't read it, the report gets released in the morning, so I'll read it, and I'll be sure to send the whole thing to you guys from Dr. Upton. But I think the other part was also look at the incentives that if they're even there. I don't know, I don't remember what part I think they were removed, but we'll have to, another piece. Thanks.
To hire mid-year than other positions because of the way salaries are prorated. These salaries are prorated when they are on a salary. So when they are on a salary. So they get less per month than they may have received from their last job. So we find with our bus operators, this continues to be a significant challenge, you know, all the way back from COVID, where we try to make some tweaks relative to attracting bus operators, and we've brought other recommendations previously to the board, just to kind of tweak some things relative to our recruiting and retaining efforts for bus operators. We are still doing that, right? And so this agenda item in particular is a way we feel will provide another option for us at a not a very significant cost, but would potentially support those employees that have those prorated salaries that may get them to actually sign on with us. Because we'll interview 6 to 8 bus operators, may only get one that actually accepts it once they see what their prorated salaries are come spring. So this is an effort to address that challenge. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But just to dive deeper into the data, we actually had 15 individuals that were offered a position that declined the position because of the salary. So we still have 5 positions that are open right now, which means at a minimum, we're covering 30 routes a day. So we met all together and put our heads together to see what proposal would be best to try to retain and recruit bus operators when it's a mid-year hire. So we feel this is putting our best foot forward that would help us employ bus operators when it's mid-year, and the salary that Dr. Ortland spoke about at an approximate cost of $19,000 per year.
So what this would actually do would create basically a permanent substitute position during the springs portion of the year at a higher hourly rate without the benefits, so that person could select that option when they come to us from that standpoint. So, right, Mr. Rogers or
Yes,
Mr.
they would still have the
Gordon?
option of accepting the salary with the benefits at the deducted salary and/or take the long-term at the rate of $35 an hour.
Basically giving potential employees an option at this point in time only then. So basically the date would trigger this particular option for them if they would consider coming to us. And then obviously once the next year started, they would be on a regular bus operator schedule. Mr. White,
Just-
anything
just
to add
one-
there? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith.
Just one question regarding that. Would, and I understand what we're trying to do here, and it may have some positive impact, but would we be setting up competing variables within the organization itself? For example, there may be some people who are already on payroll who may say, well, okay, I think I'll opt to go to the so you've got competing variables within the organization itself that could negatively impact productivity and what you're trying to do.
I'll address that. That's a good point, and we wanted to be sure that whatever we were doing for this particular agenda item as well as the next one, that we were treating our current bus operators fairly and not putting them at some sort of disadvantage to newer hires. This particular hourly rate is very similar to the hourly rate of a starting bus driver. It's in between step 0 and step 1, but because it doesn't have benefits, the bus operators, normally the bus operators would want to take the regular full-time position and get the benefits. Those benefits would be enough to make that more attractive. The problem, though, with the bus operators, as well as all the other employees who are not year-round, is that they get paid over the summer without working during the summer. So when you have to prorate their salary through August, it's less the later they start, especially for bus operators because their yearly salary is lower than the other positions to begin with. So to answer your question, I don't think that this provides any particular advantage over the existing bus operators. They would normally want to take on the full-time position with benefits. That would be the most attractive option. But some of these other employees or potential employees, they can take a position like this and then maybe work over the summer and not receive a paycheck over the summer. Sometimes they may want to take a different job just to cover the summertime.
Good. So does that as a nice segue into the next one then?
That is a perfect segue into the next item. Of course, going down this rabbit hole of trying to see what we can do to attract and retain our bus operators, what we have found as well when operators go to our human resources department.
Is something that can benefit and make, benefit the bus operators and make the position more attractive to new hires, as well as treating the current bus operators in the same manner.
Is there a potential of what that would look like? Do we have like a list of what a potential increase? Somebody could be, you know, second year, but they might have been 10 years somewhere else, and that's going to drastically affect their salary. Is that what you think, or is it not a lot of that?
I don't think it's gonna be a lot of that. We will have some of it. We have still going through, I guess, all the personnel right now. Most of our drivers are in higher step levels already. We do have, you know, a small group that are at the lower levels, but those would be ones we'd have to definitely look at. But a lot of our drivers are at the higher levels of the steps, so I don't think it's going to affect them that much.
Okay.
It'll be mostly the newer people, and that's not going to affect, obviously, anybody we put through the cohort programs, because we train them to
Yeah,
become
they
bus
don't have any
operators.
experience.
So they
Yeah.
started off at year 0 already.
I just want to thank y'all for this, because looking back, this is one of the areas that we have a lot of turnover. You know, we can't keep them for reasons you've all stated today. And so if we can retain our workers and give them the service and recognize them that they are a value employee to us, and think about it, they're carrying our children. And that is even more critical than anything else. So I applaud all of y'all for looking into this, diving deep into this, and recognizing that we really need to retain them as much as we possibly can, because it's not getting easier to have. If you look at personnel, they come in and come out so quickly, you know, and I just want to make sure that we are keeping the best of the best. So thank you again.
I have to include Ms. Brown as well. She's not at the table, but she's trying to hide. She was part of this group as well, so.
I have one final question. I support this effort to try and impact the hiring of additional bus drivers, but I'm one who, I don't believe in a shotgun approach to problem solving. I believe that problem solving has got to have multiple facets attached to it, and it must consider a lot of other things in addition to salaries and that sort of thing, because most of the research on, you know, on employment, job opportunities and so forth, salaries is not at the top of the list. I think we got to take an in-depth study of our transportation department and look at where do we get. We've got that. If we're going to do this, I think we've got to look at a multifaceted approach to problem solving.
Diesel fuel?
Yes. Moving on to diesel fuel. It is time, our contract comes up in March to seek proposals for diesel fuel. This will be a one-year contract with a three-year renewal if agreed upon by both parties, so potentially a 4-year contract. So we're seeking to be able to go out for proposals for diesel fuel.
Good. And now also unleaded.
Unleaded is more of the same. Contract date ends the same date, and we are asking to seek proposals for unleaded fuel. Okay.
Is that you? Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. I'd like you to refer to the budget to actual comparison. It's my last time saying that.
Thank
Say
you,
it
I
twice.
appreciate that. The last item is resolutions being presented to the board to call for our election on May 15th, 2026. And Mr. Hardy Andrews, one of our attorneys, is here in case you have any questions. I've had the opportunity to speak with each of the board members regarding the millage rates that we we settled on and are proposing based primarily on the recommendations of the attorneys and what we think will serve us best going forward. So if you have any questions?
Well, Joe, I can if you want me to, but I don't need to. No?
It's the
No
board member's
questions.
pleasure.
Move to adjourn then. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Consent agenda items?
101, or do y'all want 101 in there?
I think
Leave 101.
because I think people want to know that.
All right, 2.01,
Yeah. And then I think
And then
403,
4,
403, 404, 405.
Yeah.
405, yep.
yep.
That's it.
Looks good to me. Move to adjourn.
Second.
And I can make Addie's basketball game and Haley's. What did I do?